What's up guys, Tom back here from Crypto Life Inc. Today we're going to look at the Bitcoin chart to see how much further we can actually dump here. Are we going to see a bounce? Tune in and find out. Let's just jump straight into the Bitcoin price. So we've seen this massive dump hole. It's been a horrible weekend for any hodlers out there. Absolutely destroyed. Longs liquidated, everyone wrecked. Right? If you were short in all of this mess, you would have had a lovely day, a lovely weekend actually, a lovely Friday and Thursday. It was great news for you guys. Are we done? That is the ultimate question. Should we panic sell? Is this a bear market? Should we mission abort and just implode? Or should we take another hit of hopium and pray to the crypto gods and see if this thing will come back up? So let's have a quick look. Now, I'm going to go macro on the weekly. We still have, technically, this to break the real uptrend, right? So I see this as the previous low that was formed. So technically still a higher low, right? You could argue this is, but it's more of a blip on the way upwards. So and there's much more support here as well, as we can see 1, 2, 3, 4 hits on the weekly. So look, we've got a price floor of about $28,000. I'm not going to get seriously concerned that we're going to dump into, the 10K, 14K mark until we break this zone here. So if we don't get any closes below this point, from a hodler's point of view, you're fine. You don't have to do anything. We're not in a bear market as far as I'm concerned. You can argue something differently on the daily chart, but for the weekly chart, we're still safe and sound. Obviously, it doesn't look great because we've broken all our EMAs and all our supports that we pretend that we have or thought that we had. The 21 EMA wrecked, 55 EMA wrecked. Currently dipping a little bit below the 89 EMA. Are we going to hold this? Are we going to close above this on the weekly? If we can, it's going to look much more convincing that we could see a bottom here, right? We're definitely going to see a bounce around this region. It's just a matter of where and when. So if we jump down to a lower time frame, let's go to the daily now. We've got no EMAs supporting that. It's underneath every single EMA. But what we do know with Bitcoin and any chart, to be fair, is once price goes above or beneath an EMA, it always tends to go back towards it. So we can at least expect a bounce. And this would really be the region where we'd expect a bounce from here down to here. I personally think around the 33K mark is probably as low as we're going to go for this move right here before we do see a bounce back upwards. So this is basically all this chart can tell us right now. I'm going to jump in and look at some other indicators. Let's quickly look at RSI. So we got a line there. We have a channel here, right? So we're traveling along this line. There's still a bit more room to come back further down. So that's why I'm not having high hopes. If we can't close above any of these EMAs, I have no high hopes that Bitcoin's going to recover its price. But if we do expect a bounce, I would expect it to happen early next week. So the weekend's obviously had the dump, as people like to say, weekend dump. And we are approaching regions, especially on the money flow index as well. And technically we're oversold. So is there divergence on this? No. There's not even any divergence for us to use. So until we get some bullish divergence, it's not looking too great for Bitcoin, but we would expect a short-term bounce in this zone because there is strong support here. Now let's look at some other charts and indicators to see if there's any confluence. So I'm going to go to the Traders Reality Weekly chart. Again, rejected by all the EMAs. 50 EMA on the weekly, could not close above it. Next support, if you're looking at EMAs, is down at 22 something thousand dollars, 200 EMA. But again, we have this zone. So if we go down to the daily, we're technically challenging the 800 EMA on the daily. So we need to close above this to have any chance of a bounce here. Now, this has been a fairly aggressive move from Bitcoin. So I do expect there would be a bounce. And then here are some possible liquidity zones once we do bottom out. Now you can see there's still a bit more liquidity all the way down to $29,000. It's hard to say if we will hit this in this particular move. I I tend to favor this going up because the move has been so quick and so extended already to the downside, and we've already had quite a few hits to the low. So we've got liquidity all the way up to 40k at the very least for a bounce, which I think is pretty fair. And then we have, bids here at 44, all the way at 50, $53,000. So I'd expect a bounce, at least to challenge in the short term anyway, what is this, the 5-day EMA and the 13 EMA. So it'll definitely challenge this. And then if it can break that, it can go up to $40,000. So you're looking at $37,000 to $40,000 for a potential bounce in the coming week. Now, if we go down further, we can see on the 12-hour chart, there's huge amounts of liquidity here. Not much liquidity on the way down, except for this 30,000 zone. So, my bias in the short term is short-term bounce. Does that mean the end of the dump? Probably not, unless we can confirm some nice, consistent closures above this particular zone here. So, if we look at the... if you want some hopium anyways, you can look at the moon chart. We technically have a bull moon, right? It has been delayed because obviously it printed here and it dumped hard. But we have seen bull moons dump and recover eventually. So it could be a delayed bull moon. You never know. It's got like a 80 to 75% accuracy rate. So you can see bull moon. Price went up, bull moon, price went up, bull moon. I don't know if you want to use this to make any financial decisions, but it is something interesting to note. Now, if we go to the Fu Manchu chart, we can just have a look at the money flow, right? So we can look at momentum and money flow here. Now, the momentum is quite clearly coming down for Bitcoin. The buying pressure, the money flow is also coming down. It's curving down. On a 3-day, we can see it more clearly. We're just about to go into the red, so it's not looking super great at all for our Bitcoin. We really need to hold this zone. If we do not hold this zone, then it's going to be a shit show. But I tend to think that we will at least have a bounce here, and then we can see if we're going to hold the zone. So we'll definitely have to retest. On the daily, it's looking a little bit better. If you go shorter, smaller time frames, we're still clipping out here a bit. We need this to start curving up. We need this to start curving up before we see any upside. So, overall, we're looking pretty wrecked, but I do expect a smaller bounce sooner rather than later for Bitcoin to the $37,000 to $40,000 range. And then we'll probably go back down and retest and see if we can close above these previous lows. So around the $33,000, $34,000 mark. We don't want any closures there, and definitely not under the $30,000 mark. That's going to be horrible for us. One last thing I'd like to point out that is some confluence is this new indicator site that I found, which is called Hype Block Capital. Now, it shows all the liquidation risk points for traders on Bitcoin, which is pretty important because, this market is governed by a lot of trading, really. Leverage trading, there's lots of liquidity, and it's run by market makers. So it makes sense that we look at this. Now we can see there's a huge amount, of shorts liquidation points, right? Versus long liquidation points. Very little, because obviously all this pink stuff was long liquidation points, and they've already been liquidated. There's like 10% of it left. But you can see all this dark blue stuff, which is the short liquidations. There's heaps of them, and it's easy money for the market maker and for traders there to lose. We can see that it is slowing down. We've got liquidations all the way down to $33,000, which is why I tend to think 33 might be the floor for this current dip if we go down that far. Otherwise, we could just easily see a bounce from this region as well, because we've already dumped quite low, and based on our indicators, we suggest that bounce sooner rather than later, right? It's favoring the bounces, and we have all this liquidity, short liquidation points to hit for the market maker to make their money. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know if this is a bear market or if like the bull run's over. This is still an extended bull run. Leave it some comments in the description so we can have a discussion. And remember to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace. Bye.